being the main character in your own story, and why does it matter that you are the main character in your own story? Welcome back, boys and girls. If you're not familiar with me, I'm Joe. I created this channel because I want to help people like myself who are in the 9 to 5 live a more fulfilled life and get the most out of life, because I feel like there's a lot of people out there these days that are quite sad, unfulfilled, upset, depressed, whatever you want to call it, but just not getting what they want from life. And I feel like I am a particularly positive person, and I want to share that with you. I want to share with you my tips and tricks of how I get the most out of my life, even when I'm living the 9 to 5. I haven't really talked about that much in this channel. I've talked a little bit about tips and tricks, but I haven't kind of gone into why the channel exists. And that is the reason the channel exists, because I speak to a lot of people and they're just not fulfilled in life. They look at me and they say, how are you enjoying your job so much? And it's not that I'm just enjoying my job so much, or, you know, I'm enjoying certain things. It's just like my outlook on life is a lot different to other people's. They try to always push for the next thing, whereas I'm quite content in how I am right now. And, you know, there's some things that you can do to train your brain and train your mindset into thinking a specific way. Yeah, this channel is kind of for the everyday person who maybe isn't in that 1% like I talked about in previous videos. It is for the 99.9% that are in day-to-day life that are just chucking this on while they're having some food, or they're in the car listening to a podcast. This is for them, those people who are looking for something that is gonna help them navigate through life no matter what scenario they're in, because I find that I get the best out of life in any scenario, and I feel like you can too. Right, so yeah, in this video we're going to be talking about how you are the main character of your life. Now, think about a film you've watched. Yeah, think about a film you've watched. Maybe you're watching me right now, and in my life, I'm the main character of this story. You know, I'm seeing everything through my perspective, and that's it. And you're the same. If I flip the camera and I look at you, looking at me, then you're the main character of your life. Now, why is that important? Why does it matter that you are the main character of your own life? It's because you set your own story. And I think that's what you need to do as well. If you're not already doing this, it's a great way to kind of take control of your own life. When you're the main character in your own story, you're the protagonist. You know, if you've ever watched a film and you followed the main character from start to finish, you see most of the things through his eyes. And it's really important that you see your life like this. You have the pen in your hand. You have the camera in your hand. You have all the tools to take your life in whatever direction you want it to go. And it's really important to think like that, because so many times I speak to people and they say to me, well, what can I do about it? Doesn't matter what the scenario is, doesn't matter what you're talking about. They always say, you know, I can't really do much in this situation. Sometimes you can. Sometimes the only thing you can do is react and take things in your stride. But a lot of the time, there is an opportunity to actually take control in other ways. And you need to realize that you are the main character. So when you're thinking, I can't do anything about this, what can you do? Try and focus on things you can control. And if you're the main character in your own story, it's really important to think in that vein, because it allows you to move forward in the best direction possible. Now, I've talked about in other videos about losing a job. Now, as I'm talking to the 99.9% of you, I can guarantee that a lot of people watching this video have got jobs. And that's why I talk about jobs so much, is because it's the most relatable thing I can talk about. Whether you're on shift, whether you're doing the 9 to 5, whether you're working from home, I guarantee the majority of you, as I am, work in the 9 to 5. If I take something like that, that's quite real and can happen, I hope that it can actually make you think and empathize with where I'm trying to come from. So if I take, like I said, that perspective, you've lost your job, what can you do? Now, you can feel upset, yeah, fine. You can be really hard done by, you can talk about how painful it was, how they wronged you, how it wasn't your fault, but ultimately, the end goal is going to be the same. You've got to look for a new job, and that's why I want to talk about being the main character in your own story, because ultimately, you know where you're going to end up, and that's searching for another job. So what can you do in that scenario? Well, you're the main character, you decide. You take that pen, you get up your resume, You open that Word document, you update your resume, you start working on the things that's going to help you get to that next goal, because you're in control. Like I said, you've got the pen, you've got that keyboard, you're setting the narrative to where you want to go. And that's the most important thing you've got to think about, is you're the main character. Never forget that, because if you forget that, what you'll do is you'll think, oh, someone's going to come along and save me. It's not my fault. This shouldn't have happened to me. The company did me wrong. I've worked there for so and so long years, and you know, it's not my fault. Now, ultimately that might be the case, but that's not going to get you far. And thinking like the main character is always going to help you. Even when you're going through something really hard or particularly difficult in your life, and you think of yourself as the main character, now narrate that for yourself and think to yourself, well, what part of your story are you in right now? Are you in the middle? Are you at the start? Or are you at the end? And I think that's really important. Even if you think you're at the end, you know, sometimes there's another film that comes along and there's a new beginning. It doesn't mean that just because something's ended that nothing can ever start again. So yeah, just think like that sometimes, where when you're in that story and you're experiencing something particularly difficult, that you may be on that character arc where you're going towards something more positive in the future. And it's always good to think like that, because you may be in the middle of your journey where you're on your redemption arc and you need to really prove to yourself and everyone around you that you are going to redeem. And when you think like that, it allows you to think long term and think that you can come out the other side and be a better person for that. So it's a really good actual tool to, you know, get more out of life, really. Yeah, so many people think that life is happening to them, and it's really important that when you think of yourself as the main character in your own story, that you're in that driving seat. If you're in that car, you take yourself wherever you want to go, whether that be to a positive mind frame or a more negative mind frame. And on this channel, it's all about taking you to a more positive direction. Never mind. Right, let's wrap it up. Let's go, boys. Bosh.